Hey folks, Casper from Silver Tiger Media with you again, and we are very spoilt tonight. Spoilt and lucky, lucky. No, it's not Kylie Minogue. Even better, we have Band in Texas. Ladies who rock, how are you?
Well, thanks. How are you?
Awesome, absolutely brilliant. Thanks so much for joining us for a chat tonight.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
Oh, look, congratulations on your selection for opening She Who Rocks in Sydney on June 6th at the Metro. It's going to be massive.
Yeah, we're so excited. We can't wait. We just can't hide it.
So I tell you what, we can't hide it either. We can't wait to see you performing live. Do you think we can get some fishless?
Some fishless.
Yeah,
You're a fan of fishless.
I like
Do
fish.
you know? Well, do you know what? I don't know if we've planned on playing it or not because we've got a few new songs that we're thinking about throwing in, and there's been debate about whether or not to play fishless. But now everyone's looking.
If we've been asked to play
It's a
Fishless at the
request.
Metro, we have to play it. I mean, it would just be wrong not to.
I would like to because lyrically, it's probably my favourite song of ours.
Look, I have to say that it almost defines your beautiful mix of indie rock and punk rock so well. What's the track about?
Do you know what? I always get asked what tracks are about, and I feel really terrible at trying to define things. But I don't know. It's almost about like when I sing things, I imagine things, and I imagine someone like rowing in a boat out into the middle of the ocean, and maybe having no oars and nowhere to go, and kind of being completely ready to give up. And blue is like death, but it's not a sad death.
I'm with you, absolutely. And look, with Fishless to one side for just a moment, I'm just loving The Scientist, but having trouble picking up on the influences behind the sound. Maybe a little bit of Sex Pistols in there, but who would you say have influenced your sound over the last 5 years or so?
I think we're all different. It's a shame that our guitarist isn't here because I think the scientist in terms of the guitar riff is so, what I wrote as a vocal melody was so determined by what she came up with that guitar part.
Sure.
And she has, I think, very diverse influences. She loves The Who, also, loves a lot of pop music. I've been very influenced by female artists like Patti Smith. She's probably my biggest idol ever. On to you, Jackie.
Oh, me. I don't know, I get stuck on one thing, and then, I mean, that song for me, I always think that I was influenced by the stage that I went through when I was listening to a lot of cock rock
Yeah.
and stuff. I just think that song's a cock rock song, and I think that's so cool.
I feel like that when I'm singing it as well. I can't tell you what band I think it sounds like. It's just probably a different style of singing for me, but I feel like it's got a bit of that hair band kind of cock rock influence.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, and look, the film clip looked like it would have been such a hoot to make. Very, very Frankenstein's monster in fish tones, I think. But what's the clip all about as far as the music and the clip is concerned together?
I think, I mean, we had the band shots, but then we have the other shots in there, and it's sort of somehow trying to make Sophie into a cat.
I said, so the lyrics to the song are, it's called The Scientist because it's about someone creating something or someone, I don't know, maybe he's trying to create the perfect woman or, with a bit of experimentation in there. But on the day I decided that we were turning her into a cat.
Okay.
It kind of, I don't know, it was a bit of a loose idea to be honest, and it probably got a little bit out of hand and it's a little bit more graphic than intended, but it was very fun.
Well, no wonder. I mean, you look at Jackie and think, well, how can we possibly make her better? We better. Jackie, everybody wants to know, are you really naked under the lab coat?
Am I? Look, yes, I was, and yes, it was a lot of fun. I was. I think we all were, maybe except for Kelly, but there was
And myself playing drums.
Yeah,
Definitely not naked.
We were half naked. Half naked band.
50% of the band was naked. The skinnier half of the band.
Yeah.
We wanted to wear pants and clothes.
Magnificent. And look, can we expect a little bit of lab coat action for She Who Rocks, or is it maybe just a little bit too hot for a live audience?
We did keep our lab coats, and in fact we have other lab coats as well, which we ordered for the clip that didn't arrive in time, which has got like nice little logos and stuff on them.
Oh, yeah.
And we have talked about maybe rocking them out on a tour. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be for the She Who Rock show or not. Maybe they will be in lab coats and singing Fishless now that I've spoken to you.
That'd be great.
Oh, it would be tremendous. Obviously, it's going to be a huge deal to work with the Baby Animals and the Superjesus, but you're bringing a terrific and relatively unique sound along to the show. Do you personally wade through your catalogue and say, now, which track really defines us? What are we going to play live with these guys?
I reckon that we're kind of lucky in a way that we sort of fit into this missing room genre.
Yeah.
So we are able to kind of find, well, people who come to our shows and see us live are able to find something that they like within us, no matter what style they like.
Yeah.
So you could be into like hard dub and you'll still be dancing around, to a punk track.
Indeed.
So, and they're all our tracks are pretty different to each other, but carry that kind of vibe through it.
Sure. Yep.
I think we'll play a lot of stuff off the ABCD EP.
Yes.
And we've also obviously got The Scientist and a couple of other new tracks that are probably they're new to other people but not so new to us that are going to come out later this year.
Yep.
And I think we'll put a few of those in there as well. They've got maybe a little bit more of a pop punk kind of vibe. I don't think we'll try and play music that sounds like the Baby Animals or Superjesus, or I think we'll just be ourselves, and we like to think we put on a pretty good show, so hopefully the people there will be engaged by us and we might win some new fans.
Absolutely, and you're certainly renowned for putting on a ripper show, and I think it really would be a mistake to be anyone but yourselves. Well, by the way, I've got to say, great work with your benevolence and the Nepal Disaster Relief Fund. How's that gone? Plenty of support?
So we played a show last Saturday or the Saturday before? It was through a friend, so they just wanted different types of artists. They had DJs, bands, all different types of performance come together, and they got a lot of people in on the day. We played pretty early in the day, and it turned into a bit of I think it was kind of dub music or something later in the night. But yeah, all of the proceeds obviously went to support the people of Nepal, and I know personally I've donated a bit of money as well because I don't know, you feel a bit helpless when things like this happen.
Absolutely, and look, hats off to you really. So Lauren, unlike many drummers, you're quite articulate, you speak very well, and you speak in English for a drummer, which is really, really good. How did it all start for the band, for you?
I joined the band, two and a half years ago, after Chantel moved over to England.
Yes.
And I'd known the girls through attending the shows and being right at the front of the stage and moshing like crazy, singing along all the wrong lyrics, of course, still to this day. And we went into the studio for a jam, and I loved it, and the girls didn't hate it. So, so I kind of started, learning the songs and whatnot, and filtered out a few of the other musical things that I've been doing, and then slowly just honed in and haven't let them go. Love them. I love them.
You add such a awesome different dimension to our sound.
Pop.
That's really cool.
It's the Lauren Allison Dirty Disco beat.
Lauren seems like such a calm person until you're on the kit. I mean, is there anger issues being worked out, or is it sort of a lot?
Why I'm such a calm person? It's because I get all my anger out on the kit.
Maybe I need to play drums.
Oh, it's brilliant. And Kelly, I have to ask you, your personal musical development, when did you get into music and performing?
I've always been into performing, so I studied acting for full-time 3 years in my early 20s. But I think I was a little bit too much of a drop kick to pursue anything that required such discipline.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, a few years later, I had a friend who I was good friends with, a guy who was studying at SAE doing audio engineering, amazing guitarist, and I was kind of terrified by the idea of singing, but he would record music on this little 8-track that was at the house I lived in, and then I'd tell him to get out of the room and I'd do a monologue to it, improvising. And I don't know, he was kind of like, this is amazing. He thought these monologues were really cool. They were a bit messed up in the subject matter, but he thought they were really cool. And then we kind of, from there, you know, I started plucking one guitar string and writing really simple melodies, and he'd go away and turn it into, you know, something a bit more complex. And that was like a bedroom recording kind of thing called The Sexuals.
Yeah.
And I was still doing that up until 2010 when I kind of, Sophie and the girls in the band at the time asked me to come along for an audition, and I was terrified. I was so scared. But yeah, that was kind of the beginning of becoming, I guess, confident with writing, and, you know, things have evolved over time.
Brilliant, and it's all culminated into this huge event, which is great, and hopefully things will progress further from there. Jackie, how did you get into the bass? What happened there?
The bass, well, I mean, I started playing trumpet when I was about 7, and then maybe when I was about 13, I think I was at a trumpet lesson, and my music teacher was complaining that she needs more bass players, and I was like, I'll play bass.
Yeah.
And she's like, really? I was like, okay. And then there was a bass there, and I took it home after my trumpet lesson, and then so that was my first bass experience.
Jackie plays everything.
Everything.
So does Lauren. They both can play everything really, really well.
I'm an expert at triangle. But yeah, so that was that. I played a lot of in jazz bands with the bass, and then moved down to Sydney and somehow fell into this band, and it's been amazing. It's been so much fun.
Absolutely brilliant. And now, after the ABC DEP, which was released in 2014, you went on tour and sold out your shows in Sydney and Newcastle without any trouble at all. Is that where your fan base is typically concentrated at the moment?
I think so. That seems to be where we're getting the most, you know, people coming along to our shows. Our Sydney shows, obviously, in particular, because we've been playing here for so long. And then I don't know what it is with Newcastle.
Yeah.
I don't know. We do, like, I come from the Hunter Valley, but, you know, so that probably helped us the first time we went there, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what it is. If the people just have really awesome taste in music.
I just love like music and get out and see it. It's really great every time we go up there. It's a fun crowd.
And there's always music on somewhere, which is so good for the culture that you wouldn't go out and see it if it's there.
But we're trying to branch out. We got to Brisbane last year. We've been to Melbourne a couple of times last year. We're planning to go to Melbourne in July, as well as a couple of random places like Albury. And, you know, we want to kind of not just go to big cities, but visit some kind of regional places over the next 12 months, because we've got a really positive response. Even when we're in Batemans Bay or different places, we've got really positive responses. So we're going to branch out.
Oh, perfect. And we've got the perfect venue for you to come and visit in Southwest Victoria. So we'll hit you up for that around about July if we could.
Awesome.
Okay, favourite show so far? Obviously, it's huge what's coming up, but what's your favourite one together so far in your current format and lineup?
What could it be?
I know. We played with July Talk at Frankie's last year, you know, the Canadian band. And
that was so good.
That
was so good. Oh my God.
And I don't know, it was just like there were some really great bands on the bill. Tequila Mockingbird from Melbourne.
Yes.
Holly Who.
Yeah.
If you know Holly Who from Newcastle, they're incredible. And then July Talk, who are absolutely massive overseas. Mercy Kills and us. So it was a massive lineup of bands.
And there was a massive dude there as well.
What
was his name? Carl Drogo.
Oh
my God. He's still my beating heart.
So she got a bit excited fangirl Hollywood celebrities that were there. But I just,
She's
it was
still
just
excited.
yeah. She took about 800 photos and posted them all.
He had his drumstick down, my drumstick down his pants. He was not going to photograph that. I mean, come on.
When you meet a famous drummer like yourself, that's obviously what you do with the drumstick.
But yeah, that was a really cool show, and I really liked July 12th. I probably didn't know as much about them before then, but I don't know. I thought it was cool to play with them as well as the other bands.
Indeed, yeah, very, very wild show they can put on too, July Talks. Very different. Did you
Yeah.
find much lead singer punching himself in the face a lot?
Yeah, he was doing that and all the weird flirtation, and yeah, it's very cool.
Killer show. It was really, really out there. Tremendous. But obviously your show is going to be even bigger. So please, please, please tell me you have a wild, outlandish rider that'll just knock everyone's socks off.
Well, so Lauren doesn't drink before we play ever, which is like so fantastic for us because she's like a drum machine and she never misses a beat. Yes, I like to have a couple. Look, we're having a Jameson right now.
Well, look, here's cheers to your
cheers.
accomplishment. We'll do a big cheers.
But look, things do get wild after we play. But, you know, we're trying to be professionals.
Oh,
I'm gonna ask for purple stills.
Oh yeah,
That's nothing.
Yeah, they would
That's
ask
cool.
for different sweets. Right
Yeah.
here, we've also got some sort of watermelon jelly. I hate things like that.
I have some.
If I was I would ask for a spit roast.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
If I was like a big famous rock star, I'd be like, we need a, you know, pork on a spit with some potatoes ready to go, and some homemade gravy,
And a campsite.
and an old lady with a little white hat on serving it into a bread roll.
Oh, that's
And a
amazing.
purple giraffe. Got to have a purple giraffe. Apparently that's...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, obviously, you've got a bit on in June, right at the start of June, but what's next for Band in Texas? What do you hope to accomplish next?
Well, I think we'd really love to get some songs on the radio more. I mean, not that we haven't had some support from lots of independent radio and through AMRAP and online radio, but I think we've got some music this year that, you know, The Scientist is the first song to come out. It's probably the most punk of all of the songs that we have this year. We've also got some really glistening, colourful pop songs to come because we get a bit, I don't know, I was going to say schizophrenic, but that's very offensive. What would I say?
Polar extreme.
Diverse
Yeah.
and not offensive in our songwriting. And I don't know, so I think to hear some of those songs on the radio, wherever they fit, we just hope that, you know, we know that people out there will like them, and we just, you know, really want to work to, I guess, garner the support to have an audience hear them in a broader sense, as well as play some cool shows, more cool shows.
Yeah.
And lots more in Victoria, please, so we come and see you and photograph you and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But look, obviously the exposure from the upcoming She Who Rocks tour is going to be enormous for you. Obviously, collectively and individually, you are She Who Rocks. There's no two ways about it. And look, thanks very much for your time tonight. Really appreciate you sitting down to have a chat with us. I hope Sophie gets better. And sorry we missed her, but pass on our regards. We really look forward to seeing you performing live. Can't wait.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
I really appreciate your time.
Pleasure indeed. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.